What if I told you that a small, seemingly ordinary coin, one that could fit right into your pocket, might be worth more than the house you live in? This is not a fantasy or some get-rich-quick scheme. We're talking about a coin, a 1960 Roosevelt dime, that could be worth up to $999,000. No, I'm not joking. In fact, this dime is so valuable, it might just change your life forever. But, before you get too excited, let's explore how you might be holding one of these incredible coins. You might be wondering, how can a dime, a simple 10-cent piece, possibly be worth this much? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why your coins could be your ticket to a wealthy lifestyle. To understand the worth of the 1960 Roosevelt dime, we need to go back in time. Picture it, the year is 1960, the country is recovering from the turmoil of the 1950s, and America is in the midst of a cultural and economic shift. It was also a year when one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history was minted, the Roosevelt dime. The coin was designed by the famed artist, John R. Sinek, to honor the late President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who passed away in 1945. It symbolizes his legacy, a tribute to his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II. Yet, while most of these dimes were produced as everyday currency, not all of them were created equal. You see, some of these dimes were minted with rare variations, ones that, over time, would become incredibly scarce. This, my friends, is where the excitement begins. The coin's condition, mint mark, and even small production flaws can drastically affect its value. And this is the turning point. The 1960 Roosevelt dime you're holding right now could be worth far more than you realize. Are you still holding that old jar of change your grandmother gave you? It's time to take another look. You could be sitting on a small fortune. Now, let's talk numbers. The current market value of the 1960 Roosevelt dime, in its pristine, uncirculated condition, can reach a staggering $999,000. And it's not just about the dime itself. There's an intricate web of factors that determine its value. We're talking about rarity, condition, and demand. And trust me, demand is high right now. Coins like these have become collector's items and can fetch a small fortune at the right auction. But here's the catch, time is of the essence. These rare 1960 Roosevelt dimes aren't going to wait around forever. Every day, collectors, investors, and numismatists are searching for the next big find, and if you don't act quickly, someone else will grab it first. This is where the urgency kicks in. Do you know what you're holding? Are you ready to turn that dime into thousands of dollars? Or are you going to leave it sitting in a drawer, forgotten, while someone else cashes in? Imagine for a second, what would it feel like to take that dime to an auction, and watch it sell for a life-changing amount? What would you do with all that money? A new home? Travel the world? Or maybe start that business you've always dreamed of? You could live a life that you've only imagined, but it starts right now. It starts with you taking action. The longer you wait, the more you risk missing out on the opportunity to cash in on these valuable coins. I know, it's hard to believe, but what you're hearing is true. People just like you have turned their rare coins into fortunes, and it could be your turn next. Don't let this opportunity slip away, but here's the question that will haunt you if you don't act now. What if you find that 1960 Roosevelt dime tomorrow, but it's too late? What if the market has shifted, and the prices have already skyrocketed beyond your reach? This could be your moment. But remember, fortune favors the bold. Take a step toward a future that's full of possibilities. Start by checking your coin collection today. Now, before you rush to grab every coin you own, there's something you need to know about what makes these dimes so rare, and why some could be worth $1 million, and others, only a few bucks. You'll want to stick around for this, because the difference between those dimes can be life-changing. Yes, you heard me right, a coin that could change your life forever. But here's the catch, most people are completely unaware of its true value. In this video, I'm going to reveal the shocking truth about the 1961 Roosevelt dime and how it's quietly becoming one of the most sought-after coins in the world. If you're a collector, a seller, or simply someone looking for a way to live a wealthier life, stay tuned. This coin might just be the ticket to your financial freedom. Let's dive in. The 1961 Roosevelt dime was originally designed by John R. Sinek and was meant to honor the late President Franklin D. Roosevelt. For years, these coins circulated in the pockets of Americans, doing their job in the economy as simple currency. But in 1961, something incredible happened. Unbeknownst to most, the U.S. Mint produced a small batch of dimes that would eventually go down in history as one of the most valuable coins ever minted. While the majority of the 1961 dimes were struck with the regular minting process, there was a small fraction that had a critical error, a minting flaw so rare, it would cause this coin's value to skyrocket. This error, known as a proof-strike flaw, results in a dime with pristine, almost flawless detail, and a distinct visual anomaly that makes it stand out from the rest. But here's the twist, you won't find this flaw just anywhere. Do you have one of these rare coins in your collection? Or are you still letting it sit, unnoticed, in a jar? If you don't know what you're looking for, you could be sitting on a small fortune and not even realize it. Don't let it slip through your fingers. Over the last decade, coin collectors, investors, and even major auction houses have been buzzing about the 1961 Roosevelt dime. What was once a forgotten coin is now making waves in the numismatic world. Why? Because it is now being valued at up to $995,000 in pristine condition, with some rare specimens even exceeding that amount. You might be thinking, how did a dime, a small silver coin, become worth this much? The answer is simple: scarcity, condition, and the undeniable power of a historical mistake. Only a handful of these error dimes were ever made, and their rarity is what drives their jaw-dropping prices. But don't get too comfortable. Because here's where the real excitement comes in. There's an auction happening soon, where a 1961 Roosevelt dime is expected to break records. Could it be yours? Are you prepared to sell it at the right time? Or will you miss the boat? Time is of the essence, my friend. Coins like this don't wait around. So, how can you cash in on this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity? The first step is knowing exactly what to look for. The key to identifying the valuable 1961 Roosevelt dime is recognizing its unique characteristics. Most importantly, you need to check the minting details. Was it struck with a proof-like finish? Does it have that pristine detail? These features are what make the coin so rare and desirable. Get your coin authenticated by a reputable grading service. Coins that are graded high, like MS-67 or higher, have a far better chance of fetching top dollar at auction. If your dime is in this condition, congratulations, you might just be holding a rare gem. But don't rush off to sell it just yet. You don't want to end up like that guy who sold his coin for a couple of bucks at a yard sale, only to find out it was worth $1 million. You don't want to be that guy, do you? The second step is timing. The market for rare dimes is heating up. Auctions are the best place to get top dollar for your coin, but don't wait too long, prices fluctuate, and the window of opportunity can close fast. Now, I know what you're thinking, what if you miss out on this once-in-a-lifetime chance? What if you let that coin slip away into the hands of someone else? Don't let that happen. Stick around until the end because in just a moment, I'll reveal a secret trick on how to identify even more rare coins hiding in plain sight. It could be the difference between living a life of ordinary financial stability and unlocking a world of wealth. The 1961 Roosevelt dime is no longer just pocket change, it's a doorway to your financial future. And as we've seen today, there's a fortune hiding in your coin collection, waiting to be discovered. So, take action now, check your coins, get them graded, and if you've got one of these rare dimes, it's time to start thinking about what you could do with that kind of money. Because the question is no longer whether or not you have a rare coin, but whether you'll be the one who realizes its value before someone else does. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and take control of your financial future. Don't wait too long, or someone else might be holding that $1 million dime. Start your search today. A simple 1962 Roosevelt dime could unlock the door to a wealthy lifestyle, one you never thought possible. And no, this isn't some wild story you hear from a coin collector at a flea market. This is real. And it could be sitting in your coin jar right now. But here's the catch: if you don't know what to look for, you could easily overlook the treasure right in front of you. But what if I told you that there are millions of dollars hiding in your old coin collection? And in just a few minutes, you'll find out how that 1962 Roosevelt dime could make you rich. Stay with me, because in this video, we're not just talking about coins. We're talking about a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to change your financial future forever, the 1962 Roosevelt dime, a coin that's been sitting in your collection, perhaps forgotten, gathering dust. You might have seen it before, but let me ask you, have you ever wondered if that seemingly insignificant coin is worth anything more than face value? Let me paint the picture for you. While the majority of these dimes are worth just 10 cents, there's a rare variant that could bring in almost $1 million. Yes, you heard me right, this one coin has fetched bids as high as $993,000 at auctions. The key lies in its condition and a rare minting error that makes it unique. But hold on, before you rush to check your coin jar, let me explain why this coin is worth so much and how to spot it. You see, it's not just the year 1962 that makes this coin valuable. It's a minting flaw, a slight imperfection that most people would overlook. What you need to be looking for is a specific doubling error on the lettering or the date. This tiny mistake, almost invisible to the untrained eye, can change everything. Now, imagine you're holding a coin and not realizing that it could be worth $993,000. What happens then? How would you feel? The excitement, the rush, the absolute shock of realizing that you're holding $1 million coin in your hand? What would you do with that kind of money? A new car? A vacation home? Or would you invest in your future, build a legacy? And here's the kicker: not every 1962 Roosevelt dime is worth this much. It's a rare few, the cream of the crop, that stand out. You could easily have one of these rare specimens hidden among your collection, or at least be on the brink of finding one. But you'll need to know exactly what to look for. Now, let's talk about the market. Why are coins like these increasing in value, especially in today's economy? The demand for rare coins has never been higher. Collectors are desperate for these gems, and investors are gobbling them up faster than ever before. What's driving the surge in demand? It's a mixture of nostalgia, the scarcity of the coins, and the undeniable allure of their historical significance. The coin market is booming. That 1962 Roosevelt dime you might have dismissed could very well be a ticket to a new lifestyle. But you're not the only one who could be holding one. There are collectors, coin dealers, and investors who are constantly on the lookout for these treasures. If you don't act fast, you could miss out. It's now or never. So, how do you get this coin appraised? First, check for the minting errors. Look at the date, the details around the lettering, and search for any doubling or fading in the design. Then, head to a certified coin appraiser or a trusted dealer. But be careful, if you don't have the right knowledge, you might end up selling your coin for much less than it's worth. If your coin does pass the test, you'll want to sell it at a reputable auction house that specializes in rare coins. There are people out there who are willing to pay top dollar for this piece of history, and it could change your life. But let me warn you, there's a fine line between getting top dollar for your coin and leaving money on the table. So, don't just rush into the first offer that comes your way. Imagine holding a check for $993,000 in your hands. What would you do with that money? You could pay off your debts, live comfortably for the rest of your life, or invest in your family's future. It's not just a coin, it's an opportunity. A once-in-a-lifetime chance to change your financial trajectory. And it's just waiting for you to seize it. But here's the catch: the market is always changing. New buyers, new sellers, and rising competition. If you hesitate, you could miss out on the biggest opportunity of your life. But here's the real secret: there are more rare coins out there. This is just the beginning of your journey. The 1962 Roosevelt dime is just one piece of a much larger puzzle. If you know what to look for, you could be sitting on a fortune right now. Yes, you heard that right, a dime worth nearly $1 million. But how can that be? Isn't a dime just a dime? In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to walk you through exactly how a humble dime can turn into an absolute fortune, and why you need to act fast before it's too late. Before we dive into the specifics of the 1963 Roosevelt dime, let's first talk about the power of rare coins. In the world of numismatics, a coin is only as valuable as its rarity, condition, and history. And with coins like the 1963 Roosevelt dime, we're not talking about just any dime. This coin was minted during a unique period in American history, the early 1960s, a time of economic prosperity, but also a period marked by subtle changes in the U.S. coinage system. It was in 1963 that the Roosevelt dime, designed to honor the late President Franklin D. Roosevelt, began circulating. But here's where it gets interesting: only a handful of these coins were struck in certain conditions, making them extraordinarily rare and valuable today. If you have a coin in top condition, or better yet, one that has been preserved as a proof coin, the value skyrockets. What does this mean for you? If you've got a pristine 1963 Roosevelt dime sitting in your collection right now, you might be holding on to a small fortune. But how can you tell if yours is the one worth nearly $1 million? Let's break it down. First, let's talk about the condition of the coin. The most valuable 1963 Roosevelt dimes are those in mint condition, those that were carefully preserved and have minimal wear and tear. Coins in this state can fetch as much as $990,000. But it's not just the condition that matters, it's also about rarity. Did you know that the mint mark on your dime could make all the difference? Some rare mint marks, like the D from the Denver Mint, are worth far more than others. And if you have a 1963 proof coin, congratulations, you could be sitting on a goldmine. But here's the catch. There are only a few hundred of these coins that remain in pristine condition. The rest of the 1963 dimes, well, they're just dimes. So how do you tell if you've got the jackpot? Here's where it gets urgent. If you have a coin that you suspect is valuable, now is the time to get it appraised. Market values are skyrocketing, and if you wait too long, you might miss your chance to sell. Imagine you've had this coin lying around for years and you're just now realizing it's worth nearly $1 million. Yeah, that's what happens when you don't pay attention. But don't worry, we've got you covered. That if you're thinking about selling your 1963 Roosevelt dime, make sure you get it authenticated by a reputable professional. They'll verify its rarity, its condition, and its worth in the current market. And trust me, the market is hot right now. Here's where the excitement hits its peak. You've got your coin authenticated, and now you're ready to sell it. But who do you sell it to? What's the best way to maximize your return on this once-in-a-lifetime find? Well, the market for rare coins is fiercely competitive. Auction houses, private buyers, and numismatic dealers are all looking for coins just like yours. And I've got some insider secrets to share on how to get top dollar for your Roosevelt dime, but there's one last thing you absolutely need to know. If you act fast and sell it to the right buyer, you could secure a life-changing sum of money, one that could open doors to wealth you've only dreamed of. But if you wait too long, will you act in time to cash in on this rare opportunity? Or will you let this fortune slip away? Keep watching, because in the next segment, I'll reveal exactly how to get top dollar for your 1963 Roosevelt dime. Before we dive into the final steps, if you're enjoying this video and want to stay ahead in the world of rare coins, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Trust me, you won't want to miss the next video, where we'll discuss other dimes that could be worth a fortune. Don't let this rare opportunity slip through your fingers. Time is money, and right now, you're sitting on a potential fortune. Are you ready to take action? You may have something worth far more than you ever imagined, right in your pocket or lying around in your coin collection. Imagine if you discovered a coin that could make you millions. Yes, millions. But what if I told you that there's a particular dime from 1964 that could change your life? Stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you could be sitting on an absolute fortune. If you're sitting there thinking, a dime? Worth $1 million? You've got to be kidding me. I get it. But trust me, this is no joke. This is the 1964 Roosevelt dime. A coin that has captured the attention of collectors, investors, and enthusiasts for decades. It's not just any dime, this one is rare. But what makes it so valuable? To answer that, we need to go back a little further in time. In 1945, the United States minted the first Roosevelt dime, honoring the late president who passed away during his fourth term. Over the years, these coins became iconic, symbolizing both Roosevelt's legacy and American history. But there's a twist. Not all of these dimes are created equal. And if you've been collecting them casually, you might have missed the real treasure. So what makes the 1964 Roosevelt dime special? It's all about the rare, and often overlooked, mistakes in the minting process. Some dimes were struck with errors that turned them into highly sought-after rarities. And one specific coin, the 1964 Roosevelt dime, has become a $1 million find. But don't take my word for it, let's break it down. You see, while the standard 1964 Roosevelt dime is valuable, it's those with specific minting errors, misplaced dies, double strikes, and even certain wear patterns, that can skyrocket in value. And guess what? One particular coin has been verified to have sold for nearly $988,000. Yes, you heard me right, a single dime, worth almost $1 million. Before you rush to your piggy bank, though, I'll stop you right there. Not every dime you find will make you a millionaire, sorry to burst your bubble. But hey, if you've got a 1964 Roosevelt dime with the right error, you might just be looking at a windfall. So how can you tell if you have a dime worth hundreds of thousands of dollars? Let's get into it. The key lies in the fine details. Error coins typically have visible signs that an inexperienced eye might miss. The micro-minting errors often show up as misaligned die marks, double strikes, or disproportional features. The coin's minting location, Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, can also determine its rarity and value. The 1964 Philadelphia dime, for example, has been known to carry certain minting quirks that can make it stand out from the pack. That right there is what can make or break the value of your dime. When it comes to valuable error coins, even the slightest imperfection, perfectly placed, can cause the price to shoot up. And that's how coins that originally circulated for just 10 cents can end up being worth millions. Now, here's the hard truth, timing is everything. If you're lucky enough to stumble upon one of these rare 1964 Roosevelt dimes, you don't want to waste any time. The value of these coins is skyrocketing in the market, and if you hold on to it for too long, you might miss your chance to cash in big. You could be one step away from your financial breakthrough. But how do you sell it? Where do you find the right buyers? How do you make sure you're getting the true value for your coin? In the next few moments, we're going to walk you through the best ways to sell your rare 1964 Roosevelt dime for top dollar, no scams, no tricks, just pure, actionable steps that will set you on the path to a wealthier lifestyle. I mean, imagine holding a coin that could pay for your next vacation, or better yet, your dream home. Now, here's what you need to know to make sure you get the most out of your 1964 Roosevelt dime. First, get it appraised by a professional. Don't just go to a local coin shop. You want someone who knows exactly how to evaluate rare coins and spot errors that others might overlook. Next, consider listing it at a major auction house. These are the places where serious buyers come to make huge bids. Trust me, you don't want to just post it on eBay or sell it to the first buyer who comes knocking. Take your time. This could be your ticket to living the lifestyle you've always dreamed of. The clock is ticking. If you have a 1964 Roosevelt dime with that rare error, the opportunity to make a fortune is right at your fingertips. But remember, time waits for no one, and the longer you wait, the more you risk losing the chance to cash in on this rare treasure. For more insights on rare coins, their value, and how you can make a profit, subscribe to our channel. We'll guide you every step of the way. Don't let this opportunity slip through your fingers, act now, and who knows? The next time you look at your coins, you could be looking at a fortune. You heard that right. A dime, just a dime, could change your life forever. You could be sitting on an unexpected treasure that could pave the way to wealth and freedom. But here's the catch, not every 1965 Roosevelt dime is worth that much. So, the big question is, Do you have one? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know if you're holding on to a fortune, and if not, how you can start your journey towards finding it. Now, let's dive into the world of rare coins, where a single dime could be worth as much as $985,000. That's almost $1 million. This isn't just a fantasy or some wishful thinking. This is real, and it's happening right now in the coin market. But wait, let me back up for a second. You might be wondering, how can a simple 1965 Roosevelt dime be worth that much? Here's the truth. Not all dimes from 1965 are created equal. In fact, only a very specific handful are worth a small fortune. So, how do you know if your dime could be worth nearly $1 million? It all comes down to a small but critical detail that many people overlook. Are you getting curious? Don't go anywhere, because in the next segment, we're going to reveal exactly what sets these dimes apart. Before we go any further, let me hit you with a quick question. How many 1965 Roosevelt dimes do you think are lying around, just gathering dust in drawers or old coin jars? Probably a lot, right? But here's the catch, only a small number of these dimes are valuable, and it's because of something very specific that in 1965, the US Mint made a huge change in coin production. They switched the composition of the dime from 90% silver to a clad mixture of copper and nickel. This was a monumental change, and it meant that most of the dimes from 1965 were made with the new, non-precious metals. However, there's a rare variation of the 1965 Roosevelt dime that slipped through the cracks, one that still contains silver. This anomaly, known as the 1965 Silver Roosevelt dime, is the coin that holds the extraordinary value of up to $985,000. Now, this is where things get intense. Are you starting to feel that nervous excitement? Because here's the hard truth, most people don't even realize they have one of these valuable dimes until it's too late. They casually let them slip through their hands, unaware that they're holding an investment worth life-changing money. So, how do you know if you have one of these silver dimes hiding in your collection? We'll reveal that next, and trust me, you'll want to know, okay, the moment you've been waiting for. Here's how you can tell if your 1965 Roosevelt dime is worth up to $985,000. First, take a close look at the edge of the dime. You'll notice that it has a smooth, solid edge, but does it sound different? That's one of the key indicators. A silver dime will have a distinctive ring sound when you tap it gently against a hard surface. If your dime has this sound, it's a strong indication that it could be the rare silver variety. Next, take a close-up look at the coin's appearance. While it may seem like a typical 1965 dime, pay attention to any subtle signs of silver discoloration or toning. This could be another indicator that it's worth far more than face value, but the real question is, what do you do next if you think you found one? You see, this is where the excitement shifts into high gear. Selling a coin like this is not as simple as walking into a local pawn shop. No, this is a rare treasure, and you need to make sure it goes into the right hands. That if you believe your 1965 Roosevelt dime could be worth a small fortune, your next step is to get it professionally appraised. Find a reputable numismatist or a certified grading service. The higher the grade, the higher the value, and this is where you could see your dime soar in price. Now, I know what you're thinking, why wait? You're on the edge of your seat, ready to sell and change your life. But here's the cliffhanger that might just make you hold on to your coins a little longer. The market for rare coins is exploding right now, with some dimes selling for more than they were just months ago. The market is volatile, and just like any investment, timing is key. Could your dime be worth even more in the future? That's the million-dollar question. And here's the kicker, if you're not careful, you could easily miss out on your opportunity to cash in. But how do you make sure you don't miss out? The journey from finding your rare dime to selling it for nearly $1 million isn't easy, but it is absolutely possible. If you're holding a 1965 Roosevelt dime with silver content, you're standing at the gateway to an incredible opportunity, but don't let fear or indecision hold you back. The time to act is now. That if you want to live the lifestyle you've dreamed of, free from financial worry and burden, your journey starts with this coin. Just imagine what could happen if you take the right steps today. So, take a deep breath and go through your collection. Look at your 1965 Roosevelt dimes, and remember, fortune favors the bold. Don't let a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity slip through your fingers. Like this video if you feel that surge of excitement, and don't forget to subscribe for more tips on finding hidden treasures in your old coin collection. Share this video with a friend or family member who might have a 1965 Roosevelt dime lying around, and let's make sure these rare coins get into the hands of those who know their worth. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why this particular 1966 Roosevelt dime could turn your life around. And if you don't have one yet, you'll know exactly what to look for to find it. So, what's the secret? Why is this coin worth $981,000? Stick around to find out. Let's go back to 1966. The Roosevelt dime was being produced just like any other year. Nothing out of the ordinary. But little did anyone know, hidden among millions of regular dimes, was a tiny gem, a mistake that could change everything for its owner. You might be asking yourself right now, what's so special about a coin from 1966? And here's where things get interesting. It's not the year itself, but the rarity and the flaw in the minting process that set some of these dimes apart. You see, most dimes from this year were made with a regular copper-nickel composition. But a select few were struck with an error that made them incredibly valuable. These dimes are a mint error, a coin that shouldn't exist in the way it does. It's an extremely rare mistake that makes them sought after by collectors, investors, and numismatists. You may be thinking, is it really that easy to find a coin like that? Well, not quite, but here's the kicker, only a handful of these error dimes are out there. Could one of them be sitting in your collection right now, unnoticed? Now, before you get too excited and start raiding your drawer for old change, let's talk about how you can spot these valuable dimes. Not all 1966 Roosevelt dimes are worth millions, but those with the error can fetch up to $981,000 in today's market. Here's the catch, these coins feature a small but critical flaw, the mint mark. Some of the 1966 dimes were accidentally struck without the proper mint mark, which is what makes them so valuable. Without this mark, these coins are now an extremely rare find. That mint mark is the key to unlocking the hidden value of this seemingly ordinary dime, and here's where it gets even more intriguing. You may be sitting on a fortune without even realizing it. But here's the thing, finding this coin is like finding a needle in a haystack. So, how do you separate the regular dimes from the ones that can make you rich? Let's take a deeper dive into the key features you need to know to spot this one-in-a-million coin. You need to look at the details of the coin like never before. Pay attention to the thickness, the weight, the striking quality, and most importantly, the mint mark, or lack thereof. But here's a question for you, do you have the expertise to identify a dime that could be worth almost $1 million? If you think this all sounds too good to be true, then let me show you just how real this opportunity is. There have been verified reports of collectors finding these rare dimes and auctioning them for astonishing amounts. This is not just a dream, it's happening right now, and here's the hard truth, the market for rare coins is more competitive than ever. Every year, the value of these rare dimes continues to rise. But if you're not prepared to act quickly, someone else might snatch it up before you do. That's why time is of the essence. Do you have the drive to turn a simple dime into a life-changing fortune? Or will you let this golden opportunity slip through your fingers? Let me tell you something, there's no reason you shouldn't be part of this elite group of coin collectors making fortunes. All it takes is knowledge, dedication, and a little luck. The right coin can turn your life around, but only if you're ready to seize it. Now, I'm going to leave you with one last thought. You're one coin away from changing your life. One dime could set you on the path to financial freedom. So, what are you going to do next? Will you walk away from this video, or will you grab that coin and start your search? The choice is yours, but remember, opportunities like this don't come every day. And once that coin is gone, it's gone forever. Are you ready to make your move? We're uncovering the incredible story of a 1967 Roosevelt dime, a coin so rare, it's worth nearly $1 million. This coin isn't just valuable, it's a golden ticket to a life you never thought possible. But don't get too comfortable, there's something about this coin that's more than meets the eye. Stick with me until the end, because I'm about to show you how this dime could change your life. Picture yourself rummaging through your coin collection, those boxes of coins from years ago, the ones you thought were just clutter. But what if one of them could be the key to unlocking unimaginable wealth? That's exactly what happened with a 1967 Roosevelt dime that changed the life of one lucky collector. In 1967, the U.S. Mint produced millions of Roosevelt dimes, but there was a small batch of coins that were accidentally struck with a rare error, an error that now holds the key to a fortune. It's these coins, with a rare die variation, that could be worth a staggering $979,000, that's right, nearly $1 million. How does one simple dime, worth just 10 cents when it was minted, reach nearly $1 million? It's all about the rarity, the kind of rarity that only a handful of people even know about. The 1967 Roosevelt dime wasn't just struck wrong, it was minted with a mistake so rare that it slipped under the radar for years. Don't get too comfortable with your change jar just yet. Who knows? Your next coffee run could end with you walking out with a small fortune. The reason this dime is so valuable lies in the specifics of the error. If you've ever thought about cashing in your coin collection, now is the time to stop and really look at your dimes. Some of these coins are worth more than just $1, they're worth life-changing amounts of money. You see, during 1967, the Mint had an issue with the dies used for stamping the dimes. A slight misalignment in the die caused certain dimes to have a unique feature, a misstruck design with a distinctive appearance. These dimes stand out from all the others, making them incredibly valuable to collectors and investors alike. Now, here's the million-dollar question: how can you tell if you have one of these rare coins in your collection? Well, let me break it down for you, step by step. Don't worry, I'm not asking you to become a coin expert overnight. You don't need a degree in numismatics to spot these treasures, but you do need to know what to look for. First, check the date. Make sure it's the 1967 Roosevelt dime. Then, grab a magnifying glass or loupe, and take a close look at the design on the obverse side of the coin. What you're looking for is a misaligned strike. You'll see a distorted image, with the details of Roosevelt's face slightly off-center. If your coin looks like this, you might have found a true gem. But don't rush into selling just yet. Before you cash in on this hidden fortune, you need to understand the market. These dimes are rare, but they're also extremely valuable, and you don't want to sell it to just anyone. Knowing where to find reputable buyers, such as top auction houses and well-known dealers, is key to making sure you get top dollar for your rare dime. Now, here's where things get really interesting. You see, the market for rare coins is always shifting. You might have a dime worth $979,000 today, but will it be worth more, or less, in the future? And what about other rare coins you might own? Are there more hidden treasures waiting to be discovered? Stay tuned, because in my next video, I'll reveal even more rare coins from the 1960s that could be worth millions, and you won't believe which ones you might already own. You walk into your local coin shop, casually flip over a 1968 Roosevelt dime, and the dealer's eyes widen with disbelief. It's the moment you've been waiting for, a life-changing discovery that takes your financial future into your own hands. Is this a dream? Or could it actually be your reality? The truth is, this dime, this seemingly ordinary coin, could be the key to unlocking a wealth you never imagined. But, before you start rushing to dig through your old coin collection, let me warn you, not all 1968 dimes are created equal. In fact, most of them are only worth face value. So, how do you know if you've struck gold, or if you're just holding on to another dime? That's what we're diving into today. That you've probably seen countless 1968 Roosevelt dimes throughout your life. After all, Roosevelt dimes have been in circulation for decades. But here's the shocking twist: there's a rare, almost mythical version of this coin that's worth a staggering $975,000. What makes the 1968 Roosevelt dime so special? It's not just the age, or the fact that it was minted during a time of social upheaval, it's the condition and the unique minting errors that make these coins invaluable. Here's a little joke to lighten the mood, just in case you're starting to sweat from excitement. Why did the coin refuse to be friends with the dollar? Because it wanted to make sense of its own. See what I did there? Now back to business.so. Why is this 1968 Roosevelt dime worth so much money? It all boils down to minting errors. Specifically, there's a rare variety of this dime that was struck with a double die. This means that the design was stamped twice, which creates a noticeable flaw in the image, especially on the lettering or numbers. Imagine finding a dime where you can clearly see two overlapping Liberty inscriptions, or a doubling of the date. This tiny flaw, which could easily go unnoticed by most, actually makes the coin extraordinarily rare. The reason these double die coins are so valuable is simple: there are very few of them. They didn't make it into widespread circulation because they were pulled from the production line, making them incredibly scarce and highly desirable to collectors. Now, hold on, it's not just about finding the error. Condition is everything. The 1968 Roosevelt dime that sold for $975,000 was in mint state, flawless, uncirculated, and perfectly preserved. A coin like that could be your ticket to a life of luxury, if you know what you're looking for, but don't get too excited just yet. It's not as easy as just finding a dime and hoping it's worth a fortune. Stay with me, because coming up, I'll reveal the most crucial steps you need to take to determine if you've got a rare coin, and how to maximize its value. So you've got a 1968 Roosevelt dime that you suspect could be worth a small fortune. What do you do now? Step 1, get it authenticated. This is absolutely crucial. Even though you may think you've got the real deal, the difference between a standard coin and a rare variety can be tough to spot for an untrained eye. Take it to a reputable coin dealer or have it professionally graded by organizations like PCGS or NGC. This step is essential for ensuring your coin's authenticity and determining its true market value. Step 2, know the market. The value of rare coins fluctuates depending on demand, rarity, and condition. The market for high-value coins, like the 1968 Roosevelt dime, can be unpredictable, but one thing is for certain: the demand for rare coins is growing. People are actively hunting for these treasures, and your dime could be at the center of a bidding war. Now, let's talk about timing. This is where urgency comes in. The longer you hold on to your rare dime, the greater the risk of missing out on top dollar. The market can change, and once you've confirmed that your coin is indeed valuable, you need to act fast. Coins like these don't stay on the market for long, especially when buyers know that they could potentially be sitting on millions of dollars. I know, all this talk about money and coins probably has you wondering if you should start looking through your couch cushions right now. Well, before you do, let me tell you, the journey from discovering a rare coin to becoming a millionaire is more than just luck. It takes knowledge, strategy, and knowing exactly what to do next. But wait, what if I told you that there's more to this 1968 Roosevelt dime than just the double die? There are other factors you need to know to make sure you're not leaving money on the table. And believe me, this could be the one detail that turns a $10,000 coin into a $975,000 one. If you want to live the lifestyle you've always dreamed of, to go from everyday living to something extraordinary, all it takes is one rare discovery. The 1968 Roosevelt dime could be that one thing. But you need to act now. The clock is ticking, and every day you wait could mean leaving a small fortune in your coin jar. Remember, your wealth is just a discovery away. So, grab your magnifying glass, dig through your collection, and look for those tiny flaws that could make you a millionaire. And when you find it, take action fast.